Hello, welcome back to another episode of Holton Talks. Today it's just myself, Scott Acton, and joined again in person by Jamie Acton. We're going to do something slightly different today and just talk through some of our favourite shirts. The away kit has dropped for the season coming. The home shirt, there's a few leaked ones online, which looks pretty similar to the one that's just gone.
A few subtle changes.
Maybe a little change on the sleeves. And just talk through players that we recognise from the shirts and whatnot. Shirt collections are obviously so big now.
Proper end of season video in it.
Yeah, just to try and
get
some content out there, something a little bit different here. Do you want to start one of yours first?
I can, yeah, I can. My first one, so I've got three. My first one isn't actually a kit. Let me pinch this one on there for now, actually. So I need to try to hold it up. That's all right. Well, this one is actually a training top from the I think 2010 season. I think 09-10. And yeah, it's just more so. Again, it's just a training top, but it's obviously that's the first proper bit of football I remember watching. Under O'Neill, I remember the 3 6th place finishes in a row, and just the team we had there through those years, and then obviously it all ended around that 2010-2011 season, I think, towards it at the end of that 11, going into the 11-12 season, I think, didn't it? Yeah. But yeah, that Nike and the Acorns and that, this was just a training top, but again, probably
the Nike logo.
Yeah, the Nike logo. Yeah, just it was more so the fact of the players that were around at that time. That was probably until this season the best team I've seen us have. You had Barry, Ash, Carew, Gabby, Milner. Martin Larson was unbelievable. Even though he got hampered by injury, but I remember he was the first probably proper player I remember watching. I loved him. And yeah, just like Friedel, Guzan, who's still playing now. Just like players that.
There was loads. There was loads of iconic players from that time. Milner.
Yeah.
Barry.
Yeah, it's just even down in towards the end of the night.
The whole starting 11 really that O'Neill used. You could pretty much name it every week, couldn't you?
Yeah. I think it was 14 or 15 players we were using, wasn't it?
Some of the kits from that. Remember the green? Was it the greeny bluey kit that Gabby scored against Arsenal?
Yeah.
With the black shorts and black socks.
The Acorns, So
the Acorns logo.
That one's quite hard to come by because I've always looked at trying to get that one, but it's always so dear. That was the one with the ball over the top and and his trademark behind the ears, wasn't it? But that's I got when I first went up to Villa. I got a one of my first times. Sorry, I remember the old man bought a few bits for me, stuff. He got remember the line, the massive we used to have.
Yeah.
They don't do that. They don't come around now. I don't know why.
I was listening to something about that. They haven't come back since COVID. Apparently.
Yeah, both of them fucking went when the COVID. But I remember I also got a cushion, and on one side was the home kit, on the back, and on the back was that nice turquoise sort of blue kit, and
that was nice. That was a nice kit.
Yeah,
I would have been a lot younger.
Yeah,
so a lot of them kits are obviously in baby sizes.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to do mine as a number 3, but this is my number 3, classic. Actually, I didn't have this as a kid, but worn in the cup final in '94, so before your time. You don't see many shirts like this anymore. The old school sponsor, obviously the old school badge, green and black, the colours.
It's out there, isn't it? Though?
But it will be remembered for obviously that cup final. I just think when that come out, obviously that's a retro shirt. But when it come out, I just thought, I've got to get that. What a shirt!
I think as well, nowadays you wouldn't get away with it, but back then you could just slap the fattest logo on the chest, big sticker on it, and whereas now everything has to look quite neat. Whereas back then you could get away with a bigger badge, out there colours, baggy shirts.
It's a baggier shirt. Yeah. Obviously players that were before your time, but Dane Atkinson in that final with the little. That it wasn't even really a dink over the keeper. But like I said, a bit before your time.
I mean, I can
that
only
would
ever
be
go.
my third favourite shirt. I think that's a lovely shirt. You want to do yours?
Yeah, I'm doing mine in
slightly different orders.
Yeah, so I'm doing mine in order of just like years they were getting more recent. And yeah, I was born in 2001, so a lot of my kits are a lot more recent. So obviously this one was the 12-13 away.
It's a horrible shirt.
Yeah, but I remember just
Benteke.
I'm about to say we've got the same person in mind when we look at this, like Benteke. Do you remember the goal at Anfield? The
little back heel
environment. Just like when I look at this shirt, it's just like it reminds me of Benteke, and still to this day, I think the best striker I've seen play for Villa. About him, like we were doomed. And I remember, it reminds me of times when supporting Villa was hard. You know what I mean? Like now we're
tough.
Now we're like a lot of people. You know, you kind of not you're borderline guaranteed Europe. Like, you know, we're thinking next year, okay, let's try for Champions League again. You know, you look 10 years ago, and you know we're scraping relegation.
Yeah.
You know,
I remember it being when I obviously. So he's 2001, so I'm 88. So I remember going as a kid and it being you'd expect to win most of your home games, and then the time that we would have started going together, you weren't really sure. We were pretty shit, weren't we? But now, obviously, you're not. But Benteke time, I mean, he basically carried the whole team for. Was he there 3 seasons? We would have the conversation going up. Would he make Villa's all-time 11? No, he might not throughout all the years, but in our lifetimes,
it's only really Ollie and York, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Ollie would obviously have to take it now because he's broken the record. Yeah. But if Benteke stayed there another season, even just one more season, he wouldn't have been far off it.
I think as well is that we played to a strength. You know, we had fullbacks that just put the ball in non-stop.
I mean, Bakuna was a waste of space, but he could cross the ball.
He could cross the ball. Loughton, yeah.
And then obviously had runners, didn't he?
Even we had Joe Bennett. Do you remember Joe Bennett?
Yeah.
Left back. Yeah, we just had, we had runners off, like it says, Gabby. Obviously was still electric then.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just, like I said, it's just like, it reminds you of, it reminds us of harder times. And yeah, like I said, like my first game, I think, was 07. It was 1-0 to Wigan. Hugo Rodallega. That was good, wasn't it? But that was 07, and I think my second game was 08. We lost to Pompey. But I remember, obviously, you remember again, I was 7 or 8 years old. I remember bits and bobs, but then the first time I properly actually remember, and I could, when you're old enough to say, everyone in the squad and player for, what nationality players are, everyone.
Yeah.
Was around, the 11-12 season where it started teetering down. You had Houllier, you had absolute dross of managers when you look at McLeish. What were we thinking of McLeish?
I don't know.
But yeah, that whole Benteke era was just it was just
a highlight, wasn't it? It was a highlight.
It was the one shining light sort of thing.
Yeah.
Around that era.
Class. He was absolute class.
You
went to Liverpool.
But again, you can't blame him, can you? He kept us up.
Yeah, his career should have gone a lot higher than what he probably did.
I think what helped
he speaks quite highly of Villa now.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah. We done the whole pre-season thing. I think it was him and Tielemans, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But when we played in DC, yeah. But yeah, no, it's just like I said, Benteke he played in a really bad team. That team now is championship standard with the way the Prem's come on.
Oh, yeah.
Him now. This is a question to you. Him now. How many goals is he getting in this team?
I don't think as many just because of the way that we play now.
Those Luka Dean crosses.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I think he would score goals regardless, but
would he get more?
Would he get more than Ollie?
You don't think so?
No.
Penalties. He'll have all the penalties. Ollie can't take penalties.
Fucking Villa, no Villa player can take penalties unless you're El Ghazi.
The GOAT.
No, I think I'd stick with Ollie.
that goes
in
on to win it.
in a Emery team.
Okay,
But,
interesting.
let us know what you think in the comments. And my second one is, now I've got this shirt as a kid, and the home shirt from this year, but this is obviously the retro one that came out this year. 99-2000. It's just like, what's a shirt? There's not really a lot to say about this, is there? Yeah. It's just such a nice shirt. Chris White, LDV, badge in the centre. I think the badge in the centre always looks nice. Mm. The original did have the Diodora, I think, just above the badge. Bit of claret and blue in it. I did wear this to Wembley against Palace, so you won't be seeing this next season because that will be going in the cupboard and not coming out again. But again, before your time. Mm. But I don't know. All my shirts have symbols of finals, but we didn't. We lost in this one. That was the Chelsea, yeah. Di Matteo after a minute, but some unbelievable players in this. Dublin, Carboni in the home shirt scored the hat-trick against Leeds in the cup. Just a quality looking shirt. I don't think you need to say much more, and it's been very popular, I think, since they've done the retro version.
I think that's obviously why they brought it back, for just a demand.
That would be my numero 2.
I think as well the good thing about it, you got the claret stripe through the middle. Again, you don't
just
see
a bit different. You
don't see that.
Like modern shirts aren't like this now.
But again, just slap bang in the middle. Like, it's basic, but like again, but a lot of the time, like kits nowadays are so complicated.
Like we get an away shirt out now, and the first thing, like my dad would say, why can't they put a stripe down the middle of it?
No.
But anyway, that's my number 2.
I think it's quite rare as well to have the home colours on
the away shirt. Yeah, it is.
I imagine in years to come, I can see us doing, like, do you know how we done in the 21-22 season with the it was the 40-year anniversary, I think, of the Champions League triumph, and we had our away kit. Remember Courtney Hall's away at Old Trafford? Yeah. That we bought that one back, and that was like a replica of the kit we won the Champions League. And
Newcastle kind of done this year, didn't they?
Yeah, I can see us doing something with that, because that one again, like everyone loves that kit.
Yeah, it's a quality kit.
Yeah.
Right, your last one.
Yes. My one. This necklace is doing my nothing. This one is from the COVID year. Behind closed doors. Again,
that's a quality shirt. To be fair.
Yeah,
we do love a white away shirt.
We do, as times have gone by. Yeah, but yeah, like, I love this kit. It was actually the third kit, I think.
It was the third kit.
It was the third kit, yeah. But you gone about El Ghazi earlier. This screams El Ghazi, Grealish, McGinn. Yeah. I remember Grealish. Obviously, this was a season that kind of made him, the behind closed doors season. I remember his stats were up there.
What was the away kit for the green one?
The green one?
Was it the green? What was the away
kit?
The
green one was the third kit the year before.
The year before. The away kit would have been...
God, my mind's got blank.
No, I don't know either without thinking about it.
Just made us look like twats again.
Oh, no, yeah.
Moving on.
Once in an episode.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like I said, it's just the behind closed doors season. But going on about Jack, it was the season that made him. I remember, he was by far the best player in the whole Premier League. He was unbelievable. He carried us that year. I thought that was the year we were going to get Europe. Then he got injured, and I think he came back at Palace away, where we lost, believe it or not. Shock. We lost Palace away, but I remember he came back then. I think we had that kit on, and yeah, just like it says, like, just the memories about it, like it says about El Ghazi. That was a year where he probably had his best year, obviously as well as the promotion season, but he had a good season.
Yeah, he was class.
Penalties, and then again Jack.
Who else from that? Bertrand Traore. That's what he was.
Bert in COVID was good, wasn't he? He was good. He had that. Do you remember the West Brom finish?
Yeah.
The
just a little roll.
The little,
yeah.
I remember just that again, like even though it's the third shirt from that season, you think about the players and that season as a whole, like we did with the Benteke one and what you've done with yours. Yeah. It's, you look at that season where that was the first season where I thought we can qualify for Europe from an age of, again, like 08, 09, 10. you know, the oldest I am is 9 years old. You can't truly sink it all in. Whereas whereas that was the first age where I was like, God, like next season we can compete against whoever.
Yeah, I'm getting thumbs up.
How can someone thumbs this video up? But yeah, no, like that kit was just, again, the first time being a Villa fan where I could have a bit of a belief about qualifying for Europe.
Yeah, you think there's better times coming?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no, I know that feeling.
In theory, we're going like that, and we had to kind of go down a bit and then go back up. Yeah.
Right, this is my favourite Villa kit. Now, this is actually my dad's shirt because this was my very first shirt, but it's an under. It would have been age 6. So I have worn this up. It's obviously got the original Reebok on it. The collar's a bit shitty. That's the only thing that does wrap itself up. But so this was the first kit that Dad bought me, and I had Mark Draper 8 on the back, and Aaron had the home shirt with Tommy Johnson 10 on the back. Just an unbelievable kit. It's got the Villa written in it, the lion, and the back on the front.
I think that's subtle things you don't like it says about the Villa. You
don't really get it
on that third kit here. You have the map of Birmingham as well. It's just like you get these like
something slightly different.
Yeah, was that not on the home kit as well? The Villa put in, because I have this one at home. I think it has the Villa put in.
Again, they done a remake, didn't they? Or they done a retro version of it.
Yeah.
For the home, and did they do one for the away? I don't know.
Not sure.
But just what a kit. Again, the colours, the old badge, like that's obviously the classic Villa badge. Just a lovely kit, and yeah, I do wear it from time to time, just to reminisce. Obviously, this doesn't have Mark Draper on the back now, which is sad. But yeah, that's a beauty.
I think as well, kits. The good thing about kits is that like they become iconic over time, and what you do with the kit.
Yeah,
you know, like
so that was my very first shirt. So I remember at Christmas. I think it was Christmas. Me and Aaron both getting Villa shirts. We'd been full kit wankers.
Yeah,
because we'd been kids. But
that's what it's all about.
Draper on the back, and it had the old school lettering on it. Not like like now everything's like. But yeah, the old school lettering from that kind of time. Just unbelievable kit.
You can go like because I've shown a few of my kits. I've got the old lettering, but again, but you have to pay obviously to get that done. Whereas obviously back in the day, it was natural, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's a similar thing now when you go like to make clubs get a bit more money and make themselves unique in the League Cup and
change it, the font up.
The font up, Champions League, change the font up. So you see that a bit nowadays, but like I said, nothing really is like an original like that.
No, that's. I mean, I shouldn't wear that. I should really just keep that one as it is. But we'll do a couple of honourable mentions. We haven't got the Luke Roper kit with us, but you'll all know the Luke Roper kit from the promotion season.
I think that's probably my favourite kit.
I've got it. I know you've got it. Mine is in the garage, I think, because I'm running out of space to keep a lot of my kit collection, and that's one I don't want to ruin. This season's one. I'll start with the home one. Yeah. The good thing about this is the colour of the claret. I obviously didn't get the Champions League badge on it because I didn't want to be a fairy, but what a shirt! And I don't think next season one's going to be too different.
I think what we've seen so far is that the claret kind of comes down here more on the arm here, and then I think
something on the sleeve.
So then you got the white on the Adidas strip. It's white coming down instead of claret, and then you've got the whole end sort of like swirl.
Like the gold swirl.
Yeah. You think you've got a gold trim down the sides here, where this trim is here. You've got a gold trim down the side there.
That's just again quality shirt.
I think another thing as well, like this year apparently we're an Adidas elite team. I think there's 9. I think.
Yeah.
Which means the third kit you have the old retro Adidas badge, whereas that one you have the modern one, whereas you have the old Adidas one, which you used to wear all the way through 60s, 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
And I think
that'd be class.
Third kits, you usually find that away kits can be quite basic, like the one we've got.
Yeah.
The third kits is the one where, like, again, that third kit there, you have a map of Birmingham bang splattered on there, whereas, so you can have the old retro badge, and you might get a white with the clarets coming through.
The ones that I've seen leaked is like a electric blue in black, but because of the away kit, I don't know if that's obviously wrong.
See what happens, but just draft one up in my head. Imagine imagine the old Adidas logo with that AST clarets coming through white.
Yeah. They could do so many. There's so many good concept kits.
Yeah.
I'm going to shout out for this one as well because this is obviously
we talk about this kit a few times.
Kit is
Scotland's second team.
It's just incredible. First Champions League game away. We wore it, didn't we, young boys?
Yeah. More in Leipzig.
Honestly, one of my favourite ever shirts. I just love this shirt. I wear this shirt so much. Just think it's class.
I think as well the Batana looks nice. It blends in a bit more, yeah.
The badge being obviously silver as well, just a bit slightly different to a lot of the kits that I like. Probably the closest in colour for my favourite one.
Yeah. But I think as well,
just an unbelievable shirt. Just yeah.
It depends what you do with the shirt, but like you saying there, first Champions League goal. Like obviously, again, we've been in the Champions League before, pre-rebranding, but since it's been branded to the Champions League, that is our first goal. And then again, I look at that, I think it's Tielemans just because of that. For that goal. Yeah, but that's where in 20 years' time, we don't know what we're going to do. We don't know whether there's going to be, but we can look at that shirt, and again, I'll still think Tielemans.
Yeah, that's honestly, I love that shirt. I mean, I've got quite a few now. I like this one. This is I think the 90 season, so around that. Steve Staunton against Man United, that stripe that you often see.
They brought that one back in the store again, though. Yeah, a couple of years back, I think. Yeah, because they brought like the blackout version, because I have the blackout version of that. They brought like an all white and an all black one, didn't they? Yeah,
just a class kit.
How many kits do you have? I don't account before I came in.
Villa shirts. Obviously, a lot of my ones from when I was a kid are at mum and dad's still.
I'm not just sure it could be like training tops.
My whole wardrobe is pretty much Villa kits. Like most people that know me know I'm in a Villa shirt most days. Actual kits probably 30. As an adult.
I don't account that.
I know you've got loads of training shirts and stuff like that.
I don't account that before I got here. I'm seeking help. I've got. So I didn't count just kits. I counted kits, training tops, jumpers. 72. I have two wardrobes at home. I have a wardrobe for Villa, and I have a wardrobe for everything else. I have two wardrobes. One just full of Villa.
Our life is taken over by
Villa, and like everything revolves around Villa.
Everything around. I mean, I'll just look over there. My little boy's Villa shirt hanging straight up there. He's been today.
He came in when I came in. He was in Villa shorts.
Yeah, it's everywhere. But listen, that's a slightly different episode of our favourite shirts. I actually don't think there's a wrong or right answer to what your favourite was.
It's all
your favourite players that remind you of a different time or different eras, the generations that we obviously started watching as well. Let us know what your favourite shirts are. We might do another episode with an actual kit collector that I've been chatting to, hoping to get that in at some point. I've seen his collection. He's got some lovely shirts and a few obviously other teams as well.
I think as well, like you see kits that you don't think of off the top of your head, but then when they talk about that kit, you're like, do you remember when? Yeah.
So we'll try and get that in. Coming up, we'll get some content out, transfer news, and we're trying to think of slightly different episodes, aren't we, to do?
Mix up and that.
We obviously had the quiz last week, this one this week. Let us know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Try and grow the channel out. I think that'll do us on it.
Yeah, fuck it, why not?
Up the Villa, stay safe, and the season starts very soon.